hyperdrive now.
We are racing for the planet. At extreme locations. Where equality is true and a legacy is left. We pioneer new technologies and we push them to the limit. Extreme E is back.
Hello and welcome to Season 4 of Extreme E.
The all-electric off-road championship is back and once again racing in extreme locations around the world while highlighting the key ecological issues facing those environments and their communities.
Technology is a key focus of the championship. The paddock is packed full of innovation and the series provides a dynamic testbed for emergent technologies to combat the climate crisis.
Over the last 3 seasons, we have seen some of the best off-road racing action of the modern era, backed up with full gender equality behind the wheel. The grid is packed with elite drivers and teams, all taking on the toughest wheel-to-wheel racing in motorsport.
I'm Jenny Gow and alongside me is Andrew Coley with Laura Winter reporting from the paddock for the Desert X Prix in Saudi Arabia.
Season 4 begins in the traditional starting place of Extreme E, Saudi Arabia, but we move to another new venue in Jeddah. The terrain is sand and rocks. Rosberg X Racing won the first round here in Season 1 and Season 2. Season 3, though, was split between Veloce and Acciona sites.
Well, rounds 3 and 4 will be held on July the 13th and 14th. No venue yet, but it will be somewhere in Europe.
On then to Sardinia, another venue that we've used each season, the Italian island where the theme is wildfires. RXR, this has been a happy hunting ground for them, look, with 4 out of 5 wins on our 2 visits, and actually Jenny will be remaining there.
Yeah, we like to stay around, don't we, in Sardinia? It's a beautiful place, but so many problems that we can highlight and so many things that we can do to make a difference.
On then to the finale, which will be held in a brand new venue, Phoenix, Arizona, USA. Dry and rocky, endangered rivers is the theme, and I'm sure it'll be a fantastic finale to the season. Well, we kicked things off yesterday, of course, with round 1. Today is round 2, double-header weekends all season long, and wow, what a way to start the season. We've had all those driver lineup changes over the winter, some new arrivals as well, and yesterday's final did not disappoint. We are very much looking forward to round 2 today, but here's a look back at round 1. So the team's getting ready before the race. Some familiar lineups, some new ones. Veloce, of course, same drivers as last year. Kevin Hansen, Molly Taylor. Carlos Sainz there looking on at Ekstrom, who's left his squad, but Fraser McConnell has joined it. Christina Gutierrez heading to McLaren as well, and this was the first sign of the genius of Matthias Ekstrom and the McLaren squad working together. Watch this, he goes out really wide. Everybody else has used their Renault hyperdrive. Look how far off course he is. No tracks out in the sand out there. Cuts back in, now he uses the hyperdrive, 400 kilowatts of extra power to slide up the inside of his old rallycross rival, Johan Kristoffersson, and take the lead. An absolutely brilliant move, which I'm sure we'll see again today. Now it's been revealed, and of course the wily McLaren squad leaving that reveal until the most crucial moment, the start of the final. Now Kristoffersson obviously wasn't going to let Ekstrom have it all his own way. Took him an entire lap to find a way up the inside, but he did slide the RXR machine up in turn 2, the end of the first lap, and Ekstrom would then hustle him with Kevin Hansen in behind. Look how close these 3 cars were. Lias Sams wasn't far off the back either for the Acciona Sainz squad. course, 2 laps for each of the drivers, then the switch zone, and then a further 2 laps to finish things off. Here is the switch. Kristoffersson, Ekstrom, Hansen. Hansen handing over to Molly Taylor. She plugs in her comms. We were hearing lots of fantastic radio chatter yesterday. Ekstrom out, Gutierrez in. Leading, Michaela Arlen-Kotlinski was here in the RXR, and you can see behind, it's still super close. Now, these three got in a battle. At this point, Fraser McConnell was about 10 seconds back, desperately trying to close that gap down to the front pack. And with the squabbling that was going on, they were slowing each other up just a little bit. But my goodness me, it was just such a fantastic race. Bit of contact here. Gutierrez flying over the crest and hit the back of the RXR machine. No damage other than to the bodywork. Tried everything, trying to go right, trying to go left. In the end, she did a great pass up at the hairpin, again with a tiny bit of contact. Look at the roost off the back of the cars. You're on board here with Gutierrez, who looks like she's on a Sunday afternoon drive. Slots up the inside, across the smooth sand, comes in late, leans on the RXR just a little bit and makes the pass. In the background, Fraser McConnell had caught up, but unfortunately, in trying to pass Molly Taylor, just got caught out by the ruts, and a soft roll for the Acciona Science squad. Imagine it if it had been a four-way fight, it was good enough with just the three. So Arlen-Kotlinski, having just been passed, found some brilliant pace on this long straight run up the hill. She slides back up the inside of Gutierrez. And you can hear the radio call saying she's inside, keep pushing, keep pushing. And Arlen-Kotlinski took the lead back again. So the lead swapping 4 times, absolutely fantastic. Coming up towards the finish line. And it was a win for RXR with Gutierrez so close behind for Neil McLaren.
Yes! 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 Well done, Michaela. Good job. Well done.
Nice job, everyone. Very nice job. Really good job.
Thank you. Thanks. Good fight. Good fight. Thank you.
Amazing stuff. These were the results. P4 with the DNF, Sanson McConnell for Acciona Science, Hansen and Taylor get P3 for Ion Veloce, Ekstrom and Gutierrez 0.16 for second back, but a win for the champions, RXR.
Our first winners of season 4. Johan, quickly coming to you first. We saw Matthias get that brilliant start, but then you got the move on him. How do you reflect on your laps?
Yeah, it was good. I saw Matthias lined up a bit towards the left to get the smooth surface, and then he didn't use hyper, so yeah. Then he got me into T2, and then I tried to follow, stay close as possible, but he's fast. It is very tricky, very bumpy, but then just got a run on him in the same corner where he overtook me the lap before, and apparently I think his right rear mirror was broken, so he couldn't see me. And then Michaela drove fantastic, so happy to be back on top.
Michaela, that battle with Christina was epic, wasn't it?
Well, thank you. I mean, Johan handed over the car in a good position, and then Christina was a good overtake, but I'm very happy to do my overtake and take the win for the team.
Absolutely. Enjoy the podium. Congratulations, our winners, Rosberg X Racing.
It's an amazing way to kick off season 4. Championship protagonists up on the podium and in the final. Of course, RXR doing battle with Acciona Science last year. Neil McLaren in the mix this season, and Veloce, who were winners last year, up there as well. Now, all that incredible action leaves the championship standings looking like this. 27 points for RXR. Almost a perfect day. They won both their qualifying sessions and the final. They didn't win the Continental Traction Challenge, though. Neil McLaren Extreme and Ion Veloce equal on points, and that's because Veloce managed to hang on to the Continental Traction Challenge as the track conditions got a bit trickier during the day. Acciona Science, Andretti Autokilid, Legacy Motor Club, JBXE, down to the bottom of the pack, and our brand new team, Sun Mini Mill, who've been doing a lot of work overnight to try and get things ready for today. So we caught up with Michaela and Christina, that's Arlen-Kotlinski and Gutierrez, of course, after that epic battle with Laura Winter down in the paddock.
As the sun sets here in the desert, I've only just about caught my breath after that epic final between these two standing alongside me for the win. Just 0.3 seconds or so in it, one of the closest we've ever seen. Christina, I'll come to you first. You got the move done at one point. You were all over the back of the car, even making contact at one point. What was going through your mind?
Yeah, it was close. It was a nice battle. I know Michaela is a good driver, and also she closed very good all the doors, and I knew that it's going to be very difficult, but finally I could overtake, and then she moves very well in the next corner. But you know, at the finish, I think it's good to see two girls battling like this. For this series, it's very nice to see each other, and also we are good friends, and this is the most important, and hopefully we can see more things like this.
I absolutely agree with you. It was incredible to see. Michaela, what was going through your mind trying to defend this lead that Johan had given to you?
Well, like Christina said, I mean, it was a great battle, and I mean, I know Christina is a very quick driver, so I knew I had to fight to try to keep her behind. I was pushing a lot, made a little bit sideways, and then the move came from Christina. I was like, I don't want to lose this race. So then I managed to get a really good run up the hill. But I think, you know, it was 1-1. It was a good overtake, and I'm happy to do the overtake. And like Christina says, I mean, this is what Extreme is all about, to highlighting that us female drivers can definitely be at the top level in motorsport and showcase what we can do. So it was great racing, and looking forward to tomorrow.
Oh, absolutely. And I must say, we've been so caught up in the new season of Extreme. Congratulations to you as well, Dakar Rally champion, to that brilliant win there. You're obviously getting very accustomed to driving on sand. What of tomorrow?
Yeah, we're looking forward for tomorrow and try to push a little bit more. For sure, it's quite similar, the surface and Dakar, but I am not used to drive with another driver, so I need to learn a little bit more about this, and hopefully tomorrow we can do better.
Michaela, quickly then, your thoughts ahead of tomorrow. You're lining up alongside each other, by the way, in your first race.
Yeah, we don't know who starts though.
Not yet.
But we'll see, we'll see. No, but like Christina says, I mean, it's tight out there, it's a tough track, and I mean, really good drivers, so just keep on focusing, try to improve what we can do, and yeah, do the best we can do tomorrow.
Thank you both so much. Congratulations, and thank you for a brilliant, brilliant battle tonight.
Thank you.
Well, we have now got the driver lineups, and they will be lining up against each other in Q1 Heat 1, which is coming up shortly, so stay with us. Going to be a bit of an epic fight between some of those protagonists from the final yesterday. Now, if you haven't seen any of yesterday, or if you just want to see Laura Winter very scared, we lined her up and sent her out with Patrick O'Donovan in the championship car for the Enoa Course Guide. So Laura got a full-on taste of a lap with Patrick, double British Rallycross champion and our championship driver.
Patrick to event control. We're on the start line now. We're ready to go.
Are we? Come on in. Okay, here we go. Patrick. Braking! Do not roll this car. Wow, the sand is so deep. It's so hard, isn't it? Is this the big jump?
This is the big jump, yeah.
Okay.
It's all right. We're
It's
still
okay.
braking and over. See? That's all right. Well, it's quite rutty here, isn't it?
I don't know how this car isn't flipping. This is on the limit, Patrick.
Ah, we're fine. So we're coming up to the Continental Traction Challenge now.
And this is where you want to do the Enoa Hyperdrive, you think, or part of it?
I would tell you when it starts
tell me.
here at gate point 10.
Okay.
So the heavy braking zone into 10.
Yeah, that's heavy.
Up over the crest, keep it flat. We're in the Traction Challenge now.
My eyes were just closed completely then. What's your favourite part of the course?
I quite like the jumps. You
Yeah.
kind of lose control, it's good fun.
Don't
This
say
is
that.
where I'd use the Continental
I'm
Traction
trusting
Challenge.
you here. This is where you do it here.
Yeah, straight through the
Okay.
fluffy sand,
Okay.
back into a heavy braking zone by 12 and 13.
This is insane. This is such a physical course.
Yeah, and now we're back onto that thick sand that we were talking about a second ago. Up over the crest again.
So much air.
Yeah, it's good fun, isn't it?
Yeah, real good. I am holding on for dear life though. This is amazing, but I've never done anything like this.
And then we're back up over the jump. And
Okay.
across the finish line.
Wow, that was amazing. The most out of control, in control, I think. Please tell me you were in control.
I think that's a compliment.
I felt out of control.
Same.
Don't say that.
I'm joking. That was good fun. Enjoy it. Thank you very much.
Sick. Thank you so much, mate. That was amazing.
Brilliant stuff there in the Enoa course car with Patrick O'Donovan and Laura Winter. Amazing how calm Patrick is. Way calmer, wasn't he, than Laura? Here we go. We're taking a look at Andretti Autochile. Roger Griffiths, of course, the team manager, Michael Andretti, the owner. Timmy Hansen and Katie Munnings, the drivers. Katie, yesterday, would have been third quickest overall in the Continental Traction Challenge. She was absolutely flying. So they've got the pace, didn't quite make the final, sadly. Now, what they have been doing is a brilliant initiative called Racing for All, and the idea of that is to give people an opportunity to get in the paddock who might not get to be there. So people who don't come from a motorsport background don't have those connections that are maybe needed to get into the sport. We're trying to create those connections and get those people into the paddock and realise that there is a future for them, that there is some work in motorsport. It's such a fantastic opportunity for a career. So we're going to take a look at some Racing for All with Andretti out of Keelit.
Racing for All is another Extreme E initiative that aims to help young people from underrepresented communities get into the motorsport industry. Andretti Altequila is one of the teams helping new talent kickstart their careers.
Our approach for the Racing for All programme has been to take someone from the local community, and it's almost like a legacy programme for us. We're giving back to the places that we come to race, rather than just bringing someone from the United States or someone from the United Kingdom, to give someone, a local person, the opportunity to experience what Extreme E is all about. I mean, one of the best examples of the Racing for All candidate is Lana, that we brought from the Isle of Arran in Scotland to the Scottish race. I mean, she's come from a small island community and immersed into professional motorsport.
Being able to work on the car has been amazing, you know, help the guys clean it after it comes back from the track, working on the bodywork. After watching all the mechanics work in the car, it's always interested me, mechanics.
Hassan never had the opportunity to work in racing. Talking to him, he's really enjoying himself. Hopefully he comes away from this with a great experience and something he'll remember for many years to come.
Now, if you ask me for any single parts for what they are doing, I can't tell you. And what's the benefits of that, why they change that, how we can learn from the environment here. So each one, what he did, I get that experience. It's amazing.
I mean, here in Chile, we have a young lady from Santiago. Katarina has come up from there to be with us this weekend.
Bueno, en realidad me parece increíble y me parece muy importante que equipos de esta categoría puedan ofrecer esta oportunidad a estudiantes y no necesariamente que sean del mismo país, sino que sean, por ejemplo, en esta instancia acá en Chile.
From here, I can start to build my CV in the different ways of road racing, so it will be good for me.
This whole experience has just made me really want to work in motorsport now.
Here's the track then for round two, same layout as yesterday, so you'll be aware of some of those fantastic overtaking opportunities. Turn one, you can make that wide sweep and get the undercut. It's Travis Pastrana that's going to be the outside for Legacy Motor Club. We've just watched a track guide earlier on in the Anoa course car with Patrick O'Donovan and Laura Winter over that big crest at sector number 3. Then there's the drop at sector 4, double left-handers and the very long bumpy sections out the back. Saw various different places to use the Anoa hyperdrive as well in the fluffy sand, some of the uphill sections. The uphill section is in the background after the Continental Traction Challenge. 2 points up for grabs in the Continental Traction Challenge. There's a lot of information here. Use that QR code down on the right-hand side of your screen if you're new to Extreme E, and you'll be able to find out all about the series there in your own time. Yesterday, Katie Munnings, I said earlier, was, I think she was 4th or 3rd overall in the Traction Challenge, a second quicker than any other female driver. Some outstanding lap times from her as well. The lookout section is the run to the finish, where we saw yesterday some of the passing. And over the finish line yesterday, of course, it was Rosberg X Racing who took the win. Switch zone bottom right, that's absolutely critical as well. No major mistakes down there yesterday, but a couple of close calls. Now, say, there's a lot going on here. We're telling you a lot of stuff if you're brand new to the series. So we've got an explainer for you to tell you a little bit more about how Extreme E works. Extreme E is a fully electric off-road racing championship consisting of 8 world-class teams made up of 1 male and 1 female driver. In each session, both drivers will compete behind the wheel of the Odyssey 21 electric SUV, with a driver changeover, the switch, halfway through. Each driver gets an Anoa hyperdrive boost in every session, and there are bonus points for the fastest team through the Continental Traction Challenge part of the course. First up, it's qualifying, where everybody races twice in a bid to finish as high as possible in the qualifying standings. Then it's time to earn some championship points. From qualifying, the bottom 4 teams go into the redemption race, while the top 4 proceed to the grand final and compete to win the Prix and lift the trophy. It's a season-long battle, 10 rounds, one champion.
Coral reefs are essential pillars of biodiversity, supporting 1 in 4 of all marine animal species in the ocean. In addition, they support the livelihoods of an estimated 1 billion people and protect the shores of vulnerable low-lying island states. Extreme E has launched its legacy program in Saudi Arabia ahead of the Desert X Prix, with the championship's environmental efforts in the kingdom to focus on the preservation and planting of coral.
Today we're going diving to see the corals here in the Red Sea, and it's a very special ocean because it's so warm here. So the corals are very unique and are surviving. We're in the university here in Jeddah, and they're doing loads of research on these corals, so that's what we're going to look at. It will be a great experience.
We're here with Cordap Coast and Ocean Revive, learning about the importance of reef health, coral health, and also planting some coral as well.
We are going to do scuba diving. We are going to replant some corals and watching the technique and trying to do it. It's good to have this opportunity to learn and understand a little bit more about these beautiful animals.
We're about to jump in the water. I'm snorkeling. I'll be on shark watch. Apparently this reef is called Shark Reef, so I'll be on the lookout for any visitors.
Here he is. We have corals that we grow in land-based nurseries. And today we're going to outplant some of them in the reef just to show a quick and innovative way how to do it that we developed here at KAUST. So corals are tremendously important. They are ecosystem engineers, so they build reefs similar to the trees in the rainforest. If we don't have the trees, we don't have the rainforest. That's the same for corals. So a lot of people depend on them for fisheries, tourism, and also for coastal protection. If we lose local reefs, we have to reverse engineer them for coastal protection. A lot of the storms that come in are hampered off tremendously by coral reefs.
The coral reefs of the Red Sea rank amongst the best in terms of conservation status across the ocean, but yet we are seeing the fingerprint of climate change impacting on the coral reefs. Shark Reef has lost about half of the living coral cover due to a bleaching event last year. Through the Legacy project, Extreme E and the drivers of Extreme E are helping replant, and so we wish to secure a future for coral reefs, not just for us, but for our children and our grandchildren.
We saw so many beautiful corals and fish, and it was just vibrating with life. The only way to save them is really by this research and by common knowledge, and that we need to protect them. So what we can provide as drivers and Extreme E is just the awareness. You can't get sustainable unless people know about it and unless people, just kind of appreciate the value of the nature that we got out there.
What a stunning morning we have here for round 2 of the Desert X Prix here in Saudi Arabia. And if you missed yesterday, where on earth were you? What an incredible final we were treated to. RXR, our champions from season 3, were our winners of the first race of the season. An epic battle between Michaela Arlen-Kotlinski and Christina Gutierrez of McLaren a little bit further down the paddock. Acciona Sainz, Fraser McConnell rolled the car while they were running in 4th place. A bit of a build overnight on this car, but looking good to go for today. Veloce, the tent next door, these guys were 3rd yesterday in that final. 3rd, of course, overall last season as well. I'm going to head in now and see if I can find one of their drivers to have a quick chat to see how they're feeling ahead of round number 2. Molly, hello, good morning. Yesterday, Kevin said to me you didn't get things quite right. How will you make sure you get them right today?
Yeah, I think our pace on the track was great, and being able to stay in all that dust that close for the whole session was good. So we know the pace out on the track's good. We just need to optimise the start a little bit better so that we don't put ourselves in a more difficult position for the race. So yeah, that's something that's everybody's plan. That's our plan. We've got some ideas of how we can make that better, and yeah, hopefully take some more starts today.
It's a fully stacked first heat as well, isn't it? We've got the podium from yesterday, the 3 women starting, and then Travis Pastrana. What are your thoughts on that start?
Yeah, it's going to be wild. I think, it's where we've seen all the starts and all the action. It's been super close out there. So yeah, anything can happen. It's Extreme E, but we'll all be having our elbows out, I'm sure, and we all want to take that win.
anything can happen. Look, yesterday we saw those ruts really begin to just creep in. They got deeper and deeper through the day. What have you learned from that to take into today of how you may approach this? Will you approach things differently at all?
Yeah, I mean, the track evolution's quite a lot, especially because we're on a natural surface, so it's not hasn't been designed to do what we do with it. So yeah, the evolution is a lot, and it's quite a big difference between the heats. So we just have to, understand this morning we'll have groomed the track, so we're going to have probably a bit smoother conditions this morning. Then it's going to change quickly, so you just got to stay on your toes all the time and just adapt to what you see in front of you and appreciate that, how it all felt one time is not necessarily how it's going to feel the next time you get out there and be ready for it.
And just quickly looking at that start as well, we saw the Matthias Ekström line right from the outside. You guys are grid slot just inside that, aren't you? Will you be looking at some inspiration for that one with Travis Pastrana alongside you?
Oh, I'm not giving away any start information. Our plan is to take the start. That's the plan. Got a few ideas of how we're going to do that. We'll give it our best shot.
Well, that's good to hear. You'll be taking the start, at least. Thank you very much indeed, Molly. Thanks. Here we go, then. Round 2 of the Desert X Prix is about to begin. This is qualifying 1, heat 1.
Time to go racing again then in Saudi Arabia. Round 2 of Extreme E 2024 Season 4. And I say, if yesterday was anything to go by, then today could be very exciting indeed. Interesting to see that Molly Taylor was not willing to give away any start tactics, but I think very much aware that Pastrana on the outside of her might want to try and do what Matthias Ekström did yesterday on the run into the first corner. So we're going to actually head down and have a catch-up with Matthias Ekström, who's in that red building, the Vodafone Command Centre. We can ask him about Turn 1. Here he is. Good morning, Matthias Ekström.
Good morning, Andrew.
Mate, yesterday's final, that was an absolute epic. And Turn 1, you kept that secret until the crucial moment. What a brilliant move.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's... the opportunity is here because there are no track limits. You have just to go through the gates, and we were not very sorted with the start yesterday, so I thought, leave the hyperdrive for later. And then I felt when I went in through Turn 1, I pretty much nailed it, and then I used it in the exit. So yeah, it was a good one, and I just think it's cool when you watch the pictures before the corner. It looks like you're somewhere up in the switch on looking for Christina or some new tires.
I figured there was a Matthias Ekström plan going on. Now, Christina's taking the start this time, and obviously you're on the other side of the grid. I'm sure you're not going to give too much away, but I'm guessing she'll need to use the hyperdrive on the run to the first corner to try and get the whole shot and defend that line.
Yeah, I think when you're in the inside, you're left with no other choice. So you have to try and have a good take-up. So, yeah, it is what it is. When you know lottery, you know from rallycross, you want to be on the inside, and if you can't be on the inside, you have to try and send it on the outside.
Brilliant. Well, look, Travis is on the outside, so we'll look forward to seeing that. I know you and him have got a great rivalry going on, so enjoy the rest of your weekend, Matthias. Thank you.
Thank you. Great work, guys.
Thanks, Matthias. So Matthias Ekström, what a legend. Just such an incredible driver. Won Race of Champions, won DTM, won the World Rallycross Championship. He's won in Extreme E, very nearly won the Dakar. Just a very talented guy. And here's his teammate, Christina Gutierrez. So really strong pairing for Neil McLaren. And they were straight into the mix yesterday with RXR alongside them. Look, Arlen Kotlinski, Johan Kristoffersson will take over from her. And then, of course, you've got Molly Taylor and Kevin Hansen for Veloce, as well as Legacy Motor Club. This is going to be awesome.
Attention all teams. Stand by for the start of the Desert X Prix. Qualifying round 1, heat 1, is about to commence. Energize your systems and prepare to race.
Right, here we go then. Day 2, round 2. Matthias Ekström and Johan Kristoffersson having a chat in the command centre. We've got Patrick O'Donovan on site. We can have a quick catch-up with Patrick before the start. Are you excited about this one? Because yesterday's final was epic and it had these 3 teams in it. And now we've got Travis and Gray in the mix for Legacy Motor Club as well.
Yeah, after a final with as much action as there was yesterday, I have absolutely no doubt in my mind that today is going to deliver.
You know, seeing Matthias and Johan there just giving a little bit of a face-off is just a show of what's to come. It was pretty exciting yesterday to see when they stopped next to each other just after the switch entrance, and just looking across, you know, so much respect for each other off track, but as soon as they get down and they get their visors on, they're instant rivals.
Yeah, cannot wait for this. Here we go then, less than a minute to the start. The marshal walks across the front of the grid, gives a thumbs up visual contact with each of the drivers just to check that they know that everything's ready to go. Once the marshal leaves the grid now, there's a process where the lights will change colour. There is Travis Pastrana, another legend of motorsport. Yesterday put on a great show, him and Gray Ledbetter going from P4 to P2 in the redemption race. He will have seen the Ekstrom line. We've had a few lines, haven't we? The Christopherson line, the McConnell line. But that one's definitely the Ekstrom line. Will Pastrana try and exploit that? Matthias has already told us that on the inside, Gutierrez is likely to have to use the hyperdrive off the line, which the others will do too. You've got to time that dead right with the wheel spin. Here we go. Q1 race 1, round 2 of Extreme E 2024. There's the green light. Brilliant reaction time from Pastrana on the outside line, and he uses his Genoa hyperdrive straight away. But inside him, Gutierrez from McLaren. Can he get to turn 1 first? He's going to go deep. He squeezes across, shuts the door. Molly Taylor's trying the Ekstrom line. Not going to get to the apex soon enough, though. On the exit, can she get inside the McLaren? She can't. And Arlen Kotlinski's gone around there for RXR as well. So Pastrana gets the whole shot. Arlen Kotlinski looks to the inside of the American, but isn't quite there. Great job then. Travis Pastrana gets the whole shot. Inoa hyperdrive off the line to get him into turn 1 first and shut the door. Didn't need the Ekstrom line. And where Taylor tried it, I guess once she'd seen which way Ekstrom was going, unfortunately the door was closed by the Neon McLaren. So Pastrana then will want to bring this car home in the lead for Gray Ledbetter. She's then going to be going up against 3 of the championship big hitters. On the exit, Taylor looking to the inside. Molly Taylor with great pace here over the RXR machine of Arlen Kotlinski. Can't find a way through this whoop section. Gutierrez hanging on at the back. Are they quite side by side? Not quite there. Here's your onboards. Cap calm, they all look as well. Molly Taylor, you can see bottom left, that's her view. She sees the brake light come on for the RXR machine. Those white lights on the top of the car as well, those are the sight in the dust. In the background, Gutierrez on 2 wheels, bicycling the Neon McLaren. Ruts have been smoothed out overnight, always groomed the track so that we can have a great day's racing, and we can expect those ruts to build up during the course of the day. Patrick O'Donovan, great start by Travis Pastrana there, really clean away from the line and just managed to squeeze everybody into turn 1.
Yeah, definitely an amazing use of a Inoa hyperdrive there off the start as well. We saw something similar with Katie Munnings during yesterday's progression race, but yeah, just an absolute masterclass off the start there. Great into turn 1. Made sure to squeeze Gutierrez enough just that she had to back out on the inside line. And yeah, as you can see, he's already building a gap, making use of that well, extreme visibility that the other drivers might not have from sand and dust and everything being blown up into the windscreen of the cars.
Yeah, 3.6 seconds the lead for Pastrana at the minute. Bottom left of your screen shows you what those gaps are. That's gap to the leader, so you can see only a second between the Rosberg X Racing machine and the Eon Veloce car. Pastrana has got his head around this car, I think, really quickly. They're good cars, but they're tricky to drive because they're off-road cars, so they've got high centre of gravity. Patrick gave us that brilliant course guide earlier on with Laura Winter. Patrick, you've got tons of experience in rallycross, obviously driving supercars in the British and European Championship, but the Odyssey 21 is a different kind of machine to drive.
Yeah, throughout my career I've been lucky enough to drive, well, countless different cars, but nothing quite compares to the challenge of driving the Odyssey. I think just because you're on such extreme terrain that it's never the same the second time around, you kind of have to get used to a more sense of like impulsive driving. You don't get the time to have the exact apex or everything you would lap and lap before, so it's really a case of just how quickly you can respond to what's coming up to you at a certain point.
Yeah, so track conditions changing all the while. More of a rally driving style, isn't it, compared to rallycross, where you may be looking for every single tenth here, where the conditions change on every single lap. It's harder to get that perfect lap. They are on their second lap now. Pastrana has stretched the lead out to 5.8. Now, Gray Ledbetter yesterday, first session was a few seconds off the pace. Second session, absolutely bang on it. And by the final, was really flying. Kevin Hansen managed to get around her, but obviously Kevin's got 3 seasons experience, and 19-year-old Gray Ledbetter is a newcomer to Extreme E. Really looking forward to what she can do. She's going to inherit the lead here from Pastrana, and that's going to come with some pressure because obviously Johan Kristoffersen, Kevin Hansen and Matthias Ekström will be chasing her, but there is no better way to learn than to go up against some of the best in the world, and that's what Pastrana and Ledbetter are doing, joining Extreme E here. Drivers with 3 seasons experience in these cars. Of course, the courses change each year, so you don't get so much of a knowledge of a lap or a knowledge of conditions, but just that inbuilt feel for what the cars do.
Really good job, keep pushing like that.
We can hear the radio there, really good job, keep pushing. Heard lots of radio from different teams yesterday. Some of the drivers have a lot of talk coming into their ears, some not quite so much, and that's a very personal thing. And again, I know, Patrick, you've had various different spotters, some of them shouting at you, and then I think you probably get less talk in your ears than you used to get when you were younger, and you're not old now, mate.
When you're starting to make a few more mistakes, or perhaps you're a little bit more aggressive on track, you know, the spotter is well, they're an absolutely essential part of a racing team. They tell you where a car is around you, what's happening, what to do. Obviously, when you're in a race car, your only focus is what's ahead. You're trying to push to the absolute limit, and you don't exactly have the spare capacity to try and see who's around you. You don't have the vision, so without them, you're kind of stuck. But it's an absolute vital part of the racing team.
Thank you, Patrick O'Donovan, on site, giving us some great insights. A lot of chatter again in that McLaren. Yesterday, I thought the same as they came in over the bumpy section. Listening in Swedish, unfortunately, is not my strong point, but you can hear Arlen Kotlinski and Johan Kristoffersen having a chat, as they often do. So the McLaren bottom right with the changeover. Top left, Pastrana and Ledbetter. You can see Travis is doing up Gray's top left straps. So the mechanic leans in from one side. Only the driver and one mechanic allowed Travis getting the door strap done up there, and now has to run out with. Oh, they're going to get. They're almost certainly going to get a penalty for that, unfortunately. So I think they released the car while somebody was still in the switch zone, but we'll see if they get investigated or not. Travis has had a knee replacement, and yesterday he said that the running out of the switch zone was one of the hardest parts for him, literally weeks ago. Yeah, imagine having a knee replacement and then going racing off-road cars. He did a rally last weekend with Subaru in the ARA series. P2 for him, his teammate Brandon Semionek won. So Trav hands over the lead to Gray Ledbetter. There we go. You see the chatter disappears when you start to lean on the car. Gray Ledbetter's lead at the moment is 2.8 seconds over Johan Kristoffersen, who will taken over from Michaela Arlen Kotlinski. That lead now down to 2.0 seconds. On board with Johan Kristoffersen, 1.9. So Johan, 6-time World Rallycross champion, double Extreme E champion. Here's a replay. So Travis, look, does up the belt. Here, sorry, does up the strap. He comes around the corner, and Gray, unfortunately, it's borderline. They're under investigation, though. Switch zone infringement, unfortunately. So they're a new team. There is a lot to learn. Now, Gray Ledbetter now is going to learn what it's like to try and defend from Johan Kristoffersen, the 19-year-old driver, defending from the 6-time world champion. Doing a great job so far, 0.62 of a second between them. Note, though, that Kristoffersen hasn't used his Inoa hyperdrive yet. Here's the hairpin left. Come on, Gray. So she races side-by-side in Nitro Cross, which is Travis Pastrana's American Rallycross Series, and of course that's where he spotted Gray. Gave her a call and said, look, I'm going to do Extreme E for Jimmy Johnson. Do you want to come along? It's a male-female splitter driver. And she said yes, which is the right thing to do. And I say, going up, we've seen the progression of the female drivers in this series. The whole point of this series was to make sure there was equality between the two. And by having to have a female driver means that the teams have had to explore different options. If you told me you need 2 drivers, they'd have just gone to the usual set of male drivers. Gray Ledbetter is absolutely flying here. Kristoffersen, though, gets a good exit. Has to check up on the way. Is he just inside her? No, not quite. She's still holding him off. You know, a hyperdrive surely for Kristoffersen at some point. I think he's going to get it done. Here it goes long, but Ledbetter still holding on. Just inside over the finish line. And heading up towards turn 1, Kristoffersen slots up the inside of Gray Ledbetter. But I have to say, she did a brilliant job there of holding him off. We know what a great passer Kristoffersen is. And yesterday's winners take the lead here in the first race of the day. I reckon he's going to save his Inoa Hyperdrive for the Continental Traction Challenge. And Gray Ledbetter now will have her eyes on that car in front. She will know what a weapon Kristoffersen is.
Legacy one car
length. She could learn every little trick of his. It'll help with her lap times. Look at that, straight onto the back of him. This is what's so great about coming into a series and following other drivers. Patrick, again, you know, you're at the top of your game now. You've won a round of the European Championship, but when you step up a level and the level goes up, you go, my goodness me, there's stuff I've got to learn. And following other cars is not the end of the world, is it? If you lose a position, you can learn so much.
Yeah, certainly. I always say to myself, and something my dad's always told me, that if you're not winning, you're learning. So it definitely applies in motorsport. You know, every time I step up into a new category or a new level, you come against drivers who have done the same thing before you, and they've stepped up, they've learned a lot before you, and well, everything you see you can do when you're following them. You can brake where they're braking, you can try and get the power down and turn where they're turning, and you really do learn, and they pull you along, and you start to just stretch your comfort zone and really come into your own zone, you know.
Great stuff from Kevin Hansen, managed to pass around the outside, went long and deep on the brakes, just smoothly passed around Ledbetter. Ledbetter then tried a different line on the exit, went out towards the smooth sand on the outside edge. Didn't get quite enough pace. You look at Matthias Ekstrom, who's some 4 seconds back, but still has his Inoa Hyperdrive. And there you go, he looked down at the wheel while we were on board. You saw him look down at the wheel and just get that extra bit of power. Ledbetter sideways. It's just so bumpy. The ruts are coming up already. Remember, the tractor's say groomed overnight to make sure it's nice and smooth for today's racing, and then it will develop as quickly as it developed yesterday. Yesterday it really did. We're on the last lap. Kristoffersen leads by 1.3 seconds from Kevin Hansen. For Ion Veloce, still got his Inoa Hyperdrive. Here it is. So Inoa Hyperdrive for Johan Kristoffersen, all the way around the outside line of that one, carrying a ton of speed. You're on board now with him. Over the finish line, RXR win Q1 today. They won both their qualifying sessions yesterday. Fantastic drive by Arlen Kotlinski and Johan Kristoffersen. Same for Taylor and Kevin Hansen. Gray Ledbetter gets P3, and Ekstrom, who was in that fight yesterday with his teammate Gutierrez, ends up fourth. So good run by Ledbetter and Pastrana. Work to do for Neil McLaren if they want to make it through to the final in Q2. They'll have to get a better result than that. 10 seconds separating the four cars. Johan has a little look across the right, little thumbs up to the team as he heads back towards the paddock. That's them passing the switch zone. Great start to the day. They will be very happy with that. Right, we're going to head down to the command centre. There is Gray Ledbetter for Legacy Motor Club, and Travis Pastrana, a teammate, is in the. They've been given a penalty. It's just come up on the screen. Travis, good morning, mate. This is not the start to the day we wanted, but it was all going so well, and we've got to focus on the positives. You're absolutely flying, but also your teammate. Gray's just 19 years old, and I've just been so impressed with her progression during the course of the weekend.
I'm so proud of Gray. She went out there this time. I mean, that's Kristoffersen, that's Hansen, that's Matthias. 10-second penalty from potentially being able to check that off on the Matthias box. But at the end of the day, Gray drove so amazing. They're the best drivers in the world. This is her first time in the car. She's doing really well. So a lot of pressure on me that time for everyone getting out there and go. I was hoping to go against Matthias, but I got up against all the girls. The girls are absolutely flying out there. It's really cool to see.
Now, you and Matthias, we've got this wonderful rivalry between you, and I know you've got a big grin on your face because it's the T-shirt that you were holding up on Instagram before the weekend, all the things you've achieved. But Matthias Ekstrom is the one thing we haven't quite nailed. We're going to get it, aren't we? We're going to try this weekend.
You know, it's going to be tough to get in the final with a fourth in the first one. Those were the top three teams from yesterday. We knew we were up against it, but I'm just so proud of this team. Really thankful for Jimmy Johnson Legacy to allow us to have this opportunity. And Gray, man, she went from 20 seconds a lap off to 10 seconds a lap off yesterday. And right there, she was hanging with some of the best guys in the world. So very proud, and hopefully we can get out there and make it in the final event.
All right, well, we'll look forward to seeing you out there later, Travis. Best of luck, mate. Unlucky.
Thank you.
There we go, Travis Pastrana continuing his journey into Extreme E with Gray, and I say lovely to see him being so supportive of his female co-pilot. Gray Ledbetter, Travis Pastrana, really unlucky with the switch zone infringement, unfortunately dropping them to fourth. Matthias Ekstrom and Gutierrez, P3. Taylor and Hansen, P2. And Arlen Kotlinski and Johan Kristoffersen continue where they started yesterday. They won both their sessions and then the final. Ominous for everybody else. They've done the same again today at the start. Fastest sectors in all sectors there actually were Travis Pastrana. 4 fastest sectors. Fastest lap though, Hansen. Not quite sure how that's worked. We'll look at it. Right, figured that out already. Kevin Hansen, of course, was in a different lap to Travis. So Travis has got the fastest sector times. Kevin did the second half of the race where Travis did the first. So the lap times aren't quite comparable, but great sector times from Travis. You can see on the left-hand side of your screen here, that was him for the Legacy Motor Club squad, just getting a nice start into turn 1. A lot of choice of line here, Patrick, because the course is so smooth from the overnight grooming, you can send it in a little bit more.
Yeah, certainly. You can definitely try and take that outside line that Matthias was exploring in yesterday's final and then into waypoint 2. Of course, it gets really tight, but you can just try and open it up as much as possible. Go super deep on the exit of waypoint 1. Try and carry as much speed as you can get up over that crest, you know?
Yeah.
And I think, to be honest... Sorry, I was just going to say, I think, to be honest, as much speed as you can get over that crest is better, because there's such a short run-up out of waypoint 2, you've got such thick sand, and it's really hard to try and get up over it. You're not exactly... I mean, I know the cars get a lot of air, but that's just purely because of the drop-off. You really could take a lot more speed than you can.
Right, so if you can carry the speed over the crest, they will do it. They can jump long to the landing zone.
Yeah, there's no fear whatsoever in just jumping that little bit further into that landing zone and just carrying as much speed as you can then up into the second jump for waypoint 4, but you don't really want to jump too far, as we saw Gray Ledbetter, yesterday jumping a little bit too far. I went over and spoke to her in the pits after the progression race yesterday, and she was saying she kept jumping further and further, and the team was telling her, you need to jump shorter. You can't be jumping that far, can't be taking that much risk.
That's what happens when your teammate's Travis Pastrana, I guess, isn't it? You know, you feel all inspired for big jumps. She did a great job trying to hold off Johan Kristoffersen. This was Kristoffersen, who gave plenty of respect as well. You know, not trying to make any crazy passes, just slotted up the inside. Nicely done. Here, look again. It was a long pass, teeing it up over the finish line and finally getting through. And then Kevin Hansen, so here's on board with Gray. And as Travis said, she's hanging with some of the very best drivers in the world. That's such a great opportunity to learn. And that's what this series is all about. It won't be long before Gray's on the pace and fully in the mix with everybody as she's been here. This was Kevin Hansen's pass. So he came the long way round. Look, carries just a bit of speed in, and you couldn't have done this maybe if the ruts were really deep, but you can come in just that little bit later and deeper, look, and then into the corner, and nicely done. So lots of alternate lines available this morning, and I say as the ruts build up, it'll get to the point where the risk goes up a little bit as well. There was Gray trying the outside line to see if she can find some smoother sand and get herself through. But in the end, it was RXR, Kristoffersen using his Yanoa hyperdrive right at the end of the lap to get himself all the way through to the finish in the lead. Great start to their day, so well done to RXR. They win Q1 Race 1. Okay, here we go then, getting ourselves ready for Q1 Race 2. Perfect start with RXR. And in fact, Laura Winter is down in the paddock. She's with RXR now. I think she's with Johan Kristoffersen. So we'll hear from the double Extreme E champion on what has been an absolutely brilliant start to their season. It really has.
Rosberg X Racing then starting today how they finished yesterday in winning ways. A great start from Michaela and Johan. For you, it was a case of just bringing it home, but you had to get past Gray Ledbetter to do it.
Yeah, exactly. I think you got it to sound a little bit easier than it was there, but no, it's not so easy to overtake. And yeah, she had great pace, so it took me some time to catch her, and then to find the gap was not easy. Track is also very different today compared to when I drove it yesterday. So yeah, I wasn't super happy with my driving now, but yeah, I'll try to improve for the rest of the day.
That's a very Johan Kristoffersen thing to say. You win, bring it home, and you're still not happy. What's different about it? How are you having to adapt?
So today we were out in Heat 1, which we never were yesterday. So track is a lot smoother, and you can use a little bit different lines. So yeah, but we'll see. I'll try to adapt to it. And but first of all, very important to get the 10 points now in Q1.
Yeah, great start. Thanks so much, Johan. Best of luck for Q2.
Kristofferson's on board when he was chasing Gray Ledbetter. Gray is just off to the right-hand side for Legacy Motor Club, Jimmy Johnson's new team. Goes late on the brakes, so that side of the jump's a real kicker, but he manages to carry enough pace off it to be 50% up the inside here, and then you can see the nose dips twice, left foot braking, rotation on the car, and by this point he knows he's just in front. You'll take a glance across and then flick the car into the right-hand side, and there's that crest. Deep sand on the run up to it, which Patrick O'Donovan was telling us earlier on. You need to just carry as much pace as you can to try and get the car launched over it. Here's waypoint number 4. This one's more of a drop-off. It's a big drop-off, isn't it? And then down. Updates to the Fox dampers have meant the car is landing really nicely. And here, look, this is where you can see you make the time. You've got to carry as much pace as you can through these corners, and without the ruts, you're able just to slide a little bit wider than you might normally. Again here, momentum. You can't see where the line goes. Down the hill, over these whoop sections, back on the gas. You can still call it the gas. Right, we're going to head down and have a catch-up with Laura Winter.
This championship is an innovation testbed. Up and down, all over this paddock, all through this championship, we are seeing cutting-edge technology that is powering the race for the planet. Take, for example, the tyres on the Odyssey 21. Our Continental tyres are made of recycled plastic bottles. The Odyssey 21 in itself, an absolute feat of engineering. And of course, we have the Enoa hydrogen fuel cells as well, powering this paddock. Mark Grain, Technical Director, joins me now. Hydrogen, it's a huge part of Extreme E's future, but it's also here right now with us as well. How important is it in this championship?
Absolutely, it's vital. It's not only, it's been with us now for 3 seasons. You can look around, you see the fantastic job our energy partners Enoa are doing here. So each one of those containers is a hydrogen fuel cell. So, you know, we're unique in the fact that we've chosen to power the entire paddock using hydrogen above any other championship, running off the grid and so on. So that in itself is unique in motorsport.
Yeah, it's incredible, isn't it? And of course, Extreme E has the lowest carbon footprint of all international motorsport, but we're also always looking to the future, aren't we? Yes, we are currently Extreme E. Extreme Hydrogen is on the horizon. How is the preparation for that going? What does that entail?
Preparation's going really well, I'm pleased to say. We've got the hydrogen prototype car up and running before Christmas. We ran again early January, and then again most recently last week. I was over there in France with it, and then out here in Saudi Arabia. And when we get back, we're going again with the car. So there's great progression there. The trend is in the right direction. Hydrogen fuel cell is working really well with our partners Sunbio. Yeah, really pleased. I think it's vital to remember that the work that Enoa has done and allowed us in the championship to work with hydrogen and build up that experience. That means when we do go to Extreme H, the paddock is used to that technology and that fuel anyway, that fuel source and the energy source. So that really got us ahead. But yeah, coming back to the car, it's great. It's a real thing. It's a real car that goes out testing, and it's got an intense program still ahead of it that runs up until August time. We've got planned upgrades all the way through, and yeah, it's going really well.
I love that. It's real, it's tangible, it's happening, and it's the future. Thank you so much, Mark.
No problem.
I think we're all excited about the future for Extreme H. Everyone was wondering what Extreme E was going to be like, and here we are on season 4 with some of the best off-road racing on the planet. Really is fantastic fun. So why don't we go and do a bit more of that? Here we go. Q2, race 2 coming up.
We're used to a fair few thrills and spills in Extreme E. We only had the one yesterday, though, for you, Fraser McConnell. Good morning. How are you doing? How's the car doing? Just talk us through what happened in that final.
Yeah, no, morning. It's Sunday, so a new day. It's always good to be a race day. The car is good. The guys had some work, but not too much, thankfully. You know, felt bad to be able to do that on the first final with the team, but, you know, the gap was there, and everyone knows the famous saying. I don't need to repeat it. So if the gap presents itself again, I'm gonna always take it. And yeah, just unfortunate the track had a lot of evolution and the holes were super big, so small roll bloop on the roof, so not too much damage.
Just a little boop. That's the racing driver terminology. We'll have a little walk down this paddock. What's the thinking today? Will you change your approach or your mindset at all given what happened yesterday, or is it business as usual, full send?
I mean, we always have to take risks as racing drivers. Going out there to win, not going out there to participate. So I'm going to go same game plan. We switched up, so I'm starting today. Change up the strategy. With the new rules in, all the teams have to do 50 male and female starts. So, you know, all the other teams used their joker card yesterday. Today we're going to try win, and it's always better to win on Sunday.
Oh, absolutely. And we saw the Matthias Ekstrom line in the final yesterday from the outside. That was the Fraser McConnell line last year, wasn't it? Are you a bit jealous of that one? You can claim it back today if you get into that grid slot.
Yeah, no, we're starting in the 4th position, so the inside, so I won't be able to do it today, or at least in the first race. So, yeah, Matthias has taken the honours this year, but, you know, Coley will have to say different with who the line really belongs to, for sure.
Oh, pressure on Andrew Coley. Thank you so much, Fraz. Best of luck to you. Cheers. We're going to quickly grab a chat as well with Katie Munnings. I know Andretti so disappointed yesterday to just miss out on our 4-car grand final. Katie, what's the mindset today given the disappointment yesterday, but a brilliant run in the redemption race and 12 valuable points?
Yeah, I like the new format in the way that the redemption race gives you as many points as if you were to finish last in the final. So it's kind of a little bit more motivation going into that race. So we needed to get that win. We knew that we had the pace to be in the final. I think we had a super tough qualifying yesterday, very competitive heat. So yeah, today is a brand new day, brand new round of the championship. We've got everything we need to put a good package together. So it's just making that happen on the day now.
It's quite the party in here as well, isn't it? I love it. Best of luck to you. Thank you so much, Katie. Here we go then. Strap yourselves in. Our second race of the morning coming up.
Q1 race 2 coming up. There's the backdrop for it. Brilliant stuff yesterday. Super clean Q1 race 1, I have to say. No craziness. Although yesterday I think qualifying sessions were pretty clean. But oh, here we go. Look at that. I need something for scale. I need someone to... Oh, there we go. Okay, that gives me some scale. That's fine. Normally I like a hand. You know, you get a big bug, you just have to sneak a hand in next to it, and then you go, wow, that's a big bug. But there we go. And there's a camel. Okay, this is awesome. What else? Is that the camel's tent? I mean, does it live there? Does it own that tent? Here's the Vodafone command centre. Vodafone own that tent, and we're borrowing it, obviously, as our centre of operations, if you like. Race control is off to one side of it. It's the Vodafone Business Command Centre, and don't we just love it? I have to say, this was another brand new idea from Extreme to get the teams in there, and just seeing the emotion sometimes. Yeah, when the teams are stood right next to their rivals, it's just the same as being out on track, but with a bit of eye contact. And you might have seen yesterday's videos. There were some great videos on social. Go and check out Extreme E's social medias of various people shouting in the command centre at their teammates. So in the command centre, watching Dania Akil, our Saudi Arabian driver, is her teammate Andreas Backerud for JBXE. Good morning, Andreas. Good to see you. And you guys yesterday had some work to do on the car, didn't you? You're making progress. I know you've had a fault which you've been trying to find for some time.
Yeah, morning, mate. Yeah, we have struggled for pace the last few races, but I feel we're getting closer every time we're on track. There isn't much testing, and you know, Dania as well only did like 6 laps of practice before she got tossed into the wolves. So it's not easy, this game. Extreme E is extremely hard. Loads of talented drivers, but we're gonna fight back today, hopefully.
Oh, good stuff. And I love the way you call them all wolves. Poor Dania just straight into the wolves on day one. Obviously, a big part of Extreme is helping your teammate out. You've got, you know, tons of experience, decades now, mate. You're getting old. But Dania is I'm only joking. Dania has, I think you said, 4 or 5 years experience. And so I guess you guys can help each other. She's got experience driving in the sand. You look at the data together. What do you do to help bring her along?
Yeah, we definitely look a lot on the data. When she does the Dakar and the longer stages she doesn't need to go 100%, but here in Extreme E you have to go 110 everywhere. And that takes a little bit of time to figure out mentally and also physically, you know.
Thank you, Andreas, mate. Yeah, good luck to both of you, and I get it, it's a different style of driving, isn't it? So elbows out. We'll look forward to seeing you get Sandy when you take over the car later on. Good luck, mate. Have a great day.
Thank you.
There we go, Andreas Backerud, all smiles, and great to see him helping out our new recruit, Dania Akil, Saudi Arabian driver who is in the car, JBXE machine, which is, where is it? P2 on the grid. Here we go then. Q1, race 2.
Attention all teams. Stand by for the start of the Desert X Prix. Qualifying round 1, heat 2, is about to commence. Energize your systems and prepare to race.
Now, we need a big shout out for Sun Mini Mills Mechanics. I've been in touch with Timo Scheider this morning. They had, you saw yesterday, Travis Pastrana waved at Timo as Timo unfortunately retired from the race. Travis did say he wouldn't have waved if he'd known they had a problem. He thought he got the pass done, and poor Timo had that tech issue. His mechanics stayed up until 4 o'clock this morning. They got 1 hour's sleep, and then they were back in the paddock again, getting that car ready for Clara Anderson and Timo Scheider. So a huge shout out to all the techs down at Sun Mini Mill. We know that you guys are operating on very little sleep indeed. There's Katie Munnings for Andretti Autokilit. Lovely Star Wars reference from them yesterday, again on Extreme social media. I very much enjoyed that. There was no difference between the pictures. Go check it out. Here's your grid then. Timmy Hansen for Andretti Autokilit, Timo Scheider for Sun Mini Mill, Dania Akil for JBXE, and Fraser McConnell looking at right now for Acciona Science. You know, a hyperdrive off the line. Fraser McConnell telling me that I'm going to have to rename that line. Is he going to do an extra? He's far side of the grid. Oh, he's inside, so he's not going to be able to. There we go. You know, a hyperdrive for everybody straight away. Is Timmy Hansen going to try that line? Fraz is going to go deep on the brakes, but he won't want to go deep enough to open up the inside line. Scheider looks to the inside of Timmy Hansen. Scheider and Hansen side by side. Timmy Hansen there with absolutely zero visibility as Fraser McConnell roosts him thoroughly from the Acciona Science machine. Timo Scheider up the inside for Sun Mini Mill, making the pass. The DTM driver getting past the World Rallycross driver where they compete side by side. Over the jump, huge jump from Timmy Hansen on the inside line. Scheider does, though, get the position for Sun Mini Mill. Checks up on that next jump. Hansen might get slightly more exit speed. Double bounce though on the landing there for him. And Fraser McConnell leading for Acciona Science. Hansen with a nice tidy exit on the inside of waypoint number 5. Dania Akil is in P4 for JBXE. We're hearing some of the radio chat in the background as well, so we've got full comms with the teams here, so we can dial that in and out. Sometimes we get some wonderful gems of the information that's going out to these drivers.
I mean, close up and pass Scheider as soon as you can. Close up and pass as soon as you can.
There we go. I mean, that's a given for Timmy, isn't it? He's going to want to get that done, but they don't want to lose touch with Fraser McConnell outside, and Timmy Hansen goes for it from a long way back. Oh, a little bit of contact up on 2 wheels for both cars. Hansen diving in from a long way back. That was going to be a great pass. Now he goes up wide. He's going to try and get the better exit here. Timo Scheider, though, parks it on the inside line and won't quite let Hansen through. Hansen jumps out to the outside line. Scheider's going to run him out wide, puts him out into the sand. Now he's on the inside, surely, as they come down past waypoint 12. Hansen locks up the wheels. Scheider will try and get him on the exit, but I think that will be moved on for the Andretti Autokilit driver.
Good job,
Timmy Hansen takes a couple of corners to get it done.
Drive away. Stay clean and drive away.
Good job. Stay clean, drive away.
Keep this up, keep this up. Focus forwards, focus forwards.
There we go. You see stats, how much information Timmy Hansen's getting. Patrick O'Donovan, our championship driver, joins me on commentary. Patrick, interesting. Timmy gets quite a lot of information there.
Yeah, Timmy just trying to get as much information as he possibly can. Of course, he can only see with limited visibility. As he's passing Timo, he's going to want to know if Timo's dropping back, how much of a gap he's got, if he can start opening up lines, take racing lines instead of trying to defend and stay on the inside throughout the corners, you know. All of this battling, though, between Timmy and Scheider is really playing into McConnell's hands. He can just start to extend the gap now before he hands into the switch and passes over to Lyle Sands.
Yeah, Fraz is looking super calm in the car. Timo Scheider going with Timmy Hansen. Say they did an enormous amount of work on that car overnight, and I just think it's so nice when you know how hard the mechanics worked. Patrick, I mean, you know, you've presented a car to mechanics that needs repairing on occasion, and you feel bad, don't you? And this was tech, so it wasn't a crash, but you still feel bad when you know those guys have got to stay up all night, and it's great to reward them with a good drive, and Scheider is doing just that now. Looks like the car's bang back on the pace.
Yeah, certainly. I know I've had it countless times myself where you come in and maybe there's something wrong with the car. It could have been mechanical, it could have been your own fault, maybe there was contact, but you always do feel guilty, not only Are they going to have to work on the car, but maybe they're sacrificing sleep, they're sacrificing not having dinners? You know, we've had times where we've had mechanical failures on a Saturday, and the mechanics have stayed up to 3, 4 a.m., missed dinner, missed everything, just to try and get as much work done as they can on the car and have it back into perfect condition to have it on the grid the next day. And that's exactly what Sun Mini Meal Racing has done now with Timo Scheider and Clara Anderson's car. Yeah, great stuff. JBXC's Dania Akil is doing well. She's 20 seconds back off the lead, but remember where these drivers come from and what Andreas Backer had said. Endurance driving over those long stages, the specials in the Dakar and the specials in cross-country rallying, is very different. It's not 100% all the while, unless you're in maybe one of those factory cars out front. I even think they would tell you that they judge the risk level according to where the stages are. So Dania Akil continuing to up her pace. You're on board with Fraser McConnell. Tons of steering inputs. Track's smooth today. I think it's holding up better than it did yesterday, but the drivers will be a better judge of that than me. Patrick, your thoughts on the course? Yeah, certainly. I haven't had a chance to go out there yet myself today. However, I'll be heading out just about 10 minutes after this session finishes, so I'll be able to let you know before the start of the next ones. But by the looks of it, the ruts aren't coming in as badly as they were yesterday. Of course, it was graded, a little bit of water, so all that water seeping in, just compacting it nicely, leaving it for a few hours to sit. Maybe it's just hardening it up enough for it to stay. Well, we look forward to hearing Patrick's thoughts on that later on. As championship driver, of course, he takes some of the VIPs for rides in the Inoa course car. Axiona Sainz with a 2.5 second lead, so Hansen did a good job of closing that down a little bit towards the end of the run.
Bay 1.
Timo Scheider coming in 5.9 off the lead. Have a look at this. Look at this, side by side in the background. Watch this. Contact in mid-air. There is nothing you can do to change trajectory once you're in the air. Here we go. They're just bounced off each other as they come over the crest. I love it. All the angles, look. Look at this, 2 wheels, big bicycle for Timo. I bet the mechanics were thinking, please don't, please. I've only had an hour's sleep, I can't cope. Laia Sands runs out to take over from Fraser McConnell. McConnell jumps out the car. No feedback between them, which is interesting. I think that was similar yesterday, unless he's heading around the other side of the car to do belts, but I think they've got that pretty dialed in. Laia does up the lap belt look. It's a 6-point harness, so 2 up through the crotch, then you have 2 around the waist, 2 over the shoulders. And the trick is adjusting the length of those for each of the drivers. I believe, if I remember correctly, they allowed them to get a second set of lap belts in after last year for safety, because the lap belts are really hard to adjust, but the shoulder straps you have to loosen off and then tighten up again. So yeah, Fraus was in the other side of the car. Now they had a slow switch there. No, they get out in front. So the Axiona Sainz machine far left of your screen gets out in front. It was a 2.5 second gap on the way in. What is it on the way out? We'll find out when the timing screen updates when they get down to waypoint number 1. I'd say it's pretty similar, to be fair. Sun Mini Meal right in the mix as well. And unfortunately, a 30-second gap back to JBXC. So Andreas Backer is going to be out there sending it on his own. We'll maybe be able to join him at the end of the race. But at the moment, it is Laia Sands, Katie Munnings and Clara Anderson who are going to do battle here. Axiona Sainz won one of their qualifying races yesterday. Looking back, RXR won both their encounters. Axiona Sainz won in Q2, and it was Ion Veloce who won the other race in Q1. Okay, so Katie Munnings has closed the gap down to 1.9 seconds already, so she takes half a second off Laia Sands at the start. Now, yesterday, Munnings was absolutely flying. I mentioned it earlier on. In the Continental Traction Challenge, she was the fastest female driver by a second.
Brilliant stuff. Keep this rhythm, keep this rhythm.
There we go, 1.5.
Keep closing.
Brilliant stuff, keep pushing. She's doing a fantastic job, down to 1.4. Just a couple of hundreds taken off in that sector as we see Sand come into the Axiona Sainz machine and Laia Sands. Gap steady at 1.5 at the minute. But yeah, Katie yesterday, so a second faster than any of the female drivers, but of all the drivers, I think she was P3 or P4 overall in the Continental Traction Challenge, and she set an incredible lap time in one of the sessions. So she's absolutely flying. Good to see Katie with that confidence. We know how fast she is. The gap's down to 1.3. It's a visible gap now. You don't need the timing screen. Down to a second. Munnings attacking Laia Sands in front. They've both got their Inoa hyperdrive, so this may come down to a tactical race. I suspect that The Acciona science machine might wait.
Keep the pressure and set her up. Great stuff.
Keep the pressure on, set her up. Great stuff. So she's out wide. Look, Laia Sanz is going defensive on the line. That's going to mean that Munnings can come in from a little bit wider, try and close that gap down even more. The track is a little bit smoother than it is towards the end of the day. So this is the time to be using those alternate lines, sliding across the apexes, and maybe trying to set up a great time in the traction challenge as well. Through the long left-hander, Katie Munnings has gone out wide. We saw Kristoffersen and Hansen use this line earlier on today. Is that quicker or not? She's coming out really wide. 0.59 of a second. Laia Sanz on board will know she's under pressure. Katie Munnings carrying great pace over the finish line. 1 lap to go. 0.3 of a second between them. Sand flying up from the back of the Acciona science machine again. Munnings has got her eyes firmly on that target in front. Just got to get a little bit nearer.
Keep it right up. You've both got hyperdrive. Close it right up.
Both got hyperdrive. Close it up, Munnings is told. She needs to get right in close behind. And now it could, it could well come down to who's going to use their Renault hyperdrive and when. Patrick, where's the best place for Katie to exercise this? And can they get Laia Sanz to respond? Could they get on the radio and say hyperdrive? Will they know that Munnings is using it in time?
There'll be a slight delay, but I think perhaps just in time they might be able to get the information to Laia Sanz. If it was me, I think I'd be using the Renault hyperdrive on the exit of waypoint 13, as you've got a long left-hander, a few ruts, a few bumps, and you've got some really deep sand there. So I think that'll be the best place to benefit and try and outbrake Laia Sanz up into waypoint 17.
So we just heard them say hyperdrive over the radio. But Munnings at 0.6 of a second back has either decided not to use it. Maybe it's an option for the hyperdrive there. Sanz. So now Munnings is out really wide. Watch for the exit here. This will carry good entry speed into number 11. And she'll get closer again, 1 second between them. Clara Anderson's only a few seconds back, but these two are absolutely flying out front. Anderson can't quite get close enough to make the most of anything that happens between them. This is the hairpin left. Now it's deep sand on the exit. Oh, Katie Munnings gets a bad kick on the exit, and the lead just stretches up to 1.1 seconds. You know, a hyperdrive, I reckon, for both of them now. This is where Patrick was saying about using it on the exit. Here's the deep sand up the hill.
Long gas, single braking. Long gas, single braking.
Long gas, single braking. So they wanted to go deep on the brakes, be confident on where her braking point is, and carry it right down into the braking zone. They're both saving their Renault hyperdrive for the run to the finish line. 0.8 of a second between them. Laia Sanz has done a great job. Katie Munnings now activates hers. Laia Sanz has still got hers to use through the left-hander. The gap's down to 0.8. We're on board with Sanz. Can't see where Munnings is behind. And now Laia Sanz uses hers as well. 400 kilowatts of extra power going to take her up and over the line. Laia Sanz is going to win this one for Acciona Science. Great drive by her and Fraser McConnell. Katie Munnings and Timmy Hansen take P2 for Andretti out to Keelit. And Clara Anderson brings home the Sun Mini Mill car in P3 for her and Timo Scheider and those mechanics who worked so hard overnight. Great to see that car finish. Here's Andreas Backerud for JBXE. Oh, go on, mate. Previous European Rallycross champion, of course. P2 in the World Championship, P2 in Nitro Cross. He's a proper legend of off-road motorsport, and I'm looking forward to seeing Andreas up at the front fighting with the other drivers soon. Laia Sanz, big sigh of relief, I'm sure, for her. She's going to pull the comms? She pulls the comms. Now you can say what you want. Great stuff. Sanz brings the car up towards her tent. They'll get that reversed in any second. Letting the other cars go through in the background. So the mechanic at the front holding Sanz in place. He's letting a car pass behind. You cannot see when you're reversing a race car, so you just need somebody there to point you in. They direct the wheel for you and get you back. Now, Laia's teammate, of course, is Fraser McConnell. He's in the command centre. Now we're going to head down and talk to Fraz. Morning, mate. That's a great way to start your day, isn't it? You won a session yesterday and you've done the same again today. It sets you up nicely for Q2.
Yeah, for sure. With this new format, it's really tough to make it to the final. It's almost impossible without a win. You know, the only other way is second place. So, you know, we switched up the strategy today. I took the start. You know, this season, each team's needing the same amount of starts for males and females. Yesterday we used Laia, today we used me. And, you know, hopefully we can carry this momentum into the final and give them some McConnell magic.
Look forward to that. So you were on the inside, so no McConnell line this time, but a nice start by you. Great drive by Laia as well. She was under a lot of pressure from Katie Munnings. The Andretti squad, I mean, mate, I don't need to tell you there's 5 or 6 squads out there who are very capable of good pace, but great defensive drive by Laya to keep Katie at bay.
For sure, Laya was very smart. You know, in my second lap, I saw a big rock stone on the inside of waypoint 5, so I told her to look out for it and be careful and not damage the car. So, you know, we were losing a little bit of time, but we're playing it smart. There's much more left in the tank, and we're going for it.
All right, well, we'll look forward to it. I know they'll be staying up late in Jamaica. They won't have much sleep, will they, before they watch the finals later on? So, yeah, big up and well done, mate.
Yeah, man, everybody back home is drinking some Red Bull, staying awake. And you know, I'm drinking it over here and just giving me a wing. So big up, everybody.
Nice one, Fraz. There we go. So Fraser McConnell, of course, joining Acciona Science, and with that, gaining some new backing as well. Rightly so. His career's done brilliantly. JBXE, P4, P3 for Sun Mini Mill Racing. P2, Andretti out to Keelit, 1 second back. It was 1 second, wasn't it, for the whole of that last lap. Brilliant drive by Munnings and Hansen, but they couldn't stop Fraser McConnell and Laya Sands. They take a session win. They'll be hoping for another good result in Q2 to put them through to the final. Great stuff then from Q1. Q2 coming up later. You'll be able to see that with the finals later on today, so make sure you keep up, because yesterday's finals were absolute bangers. They really were. Okay, let's take a look back at Q2 race 2. I've got Patrick O'Donovan on site who can help us with a bit of feedback and all of this as well. Great start on the inside line by Fraser. Patrick, we haven't seen anyone able to exploit the extra line from yesterday from the outside of the grid. It just hasn't quite paid off, but yeah, it doesn't mean it won't work later on.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's definitely a line that can work. However, it's a lot more rich. You're carrying more speed through a really rutted area. And don't forget that on the way into waypoint 1, as you're turning right, that's where the other cars turn left as they're finishing a lap. So the ruts are crossing over each other. So there's no even ruts that you can get in that might be following around the right-hand line. You might be crossing over some ruts trying to go the other way. So it's quite a sketchy point in the track to be carrying a really high speed through.
Yeah, it makes it even more respect, isn't it, for Ekstrom pulling it off yesterday. It really was a wonderful moment. I love a good bit of motorsport, and you know, one of those moments where you go on, have a go, and he did. He pulled it off. So fantastic job by him. Now this is over the waypoint 3 section. They mentioned the big rock, Patrick. I actually saw that a couple of times on the footage. Here it is on the inside. You see it?
Yeah, I see the big rock. To be honest, I think you can just take a wider line through that corner, as you just saw the Acciona car doing there. I don't think it compromises you too much. It might even set you up a little bit better for the second apex, in that it's like an open horseshoe, like an open hairpin left-hander there. So I think you can avoid it quite comfortably, but I'm sure they'll try and move it there as they're going around the track after this session.
I'm sure they'll go out and get rid of that one. We don't want to see cars retiring, so that's the biggest rock we've seen dragged up in the sand. Once you get a little bit deeper down, we can find some of that debris. Brilliant stuff out there. Katie Munnings did her best to try and find a way through, but there just wasn't enough space. Laya Sands a really nice job of defending. They saved their Inoa hyperdrives for late in the lap. I guess they were hoping that they were going to be able to make the pass, but in the end, Patrick, it might have been better deployed in the Traction Challenge area to try and get those 2 championship points if you can't use it for a pass, but I guess the team were advising them on that as well.
Yeah, definitely. You know, I would have used it in the Continental Traction Challenge if you couldn't get the pass done. I think perhaps it would have been better if Katie had tried to do the pass earlier, but of course you just want to try and scope out your competition, see where they're making a few mistakes, and then just dive for it when you can. Unlucky, but you know, I think Katie and Timmy will definitely be happy that they managed to stay that close and put the pressure on for that long. It's not easy in these off-road cars when there's so much happening. You've got the ruts, you've got sand being sprayed up onto the windscreen, and it does make it really difficult to follow so closely. So yeah, huge congratulations for Katie to be able to do that. I know how difficult it is myself, and it might sound like a little bit of a silly thing to say, but just to be able to follow so closely is really impressive.
Thanks, Patrick. Much appreciated. Great feedback from our championship driver on site in Saudi Arabia. So Q1 is done and dusted. We've got another qualifying session later on today, and you can see it's RXR and Acciona Science at the top of that list. Now, when the cars are equal on points, which of course they will be from the 2 different sessions, they are then split by the Continental Traction Challenge. So that at the minute means RXR are faster than Acciona Science in that section. Same with the Veloce being faster than Andretti and so on. What's crucial is between P4 and P5. So when we get to the end of Q2, that's the cut-off point between the grand final and, of course, the redemption race. We're going to head down to Katie Munnings. Let's go and have a chat with her.
Well, Katie, you always front up in interviews, and often we speak to you and something hasn't gone quite right. So I'm quite happy to be speaking to a smiling Katie Munnings. What a drive that was. So much confidence, brilliant defence from Laia, but superb attack from yourself. Take me into the driver's seat.
Yeah, I mean, it's always a bit easier when you're behind and you've got a target. I think when you're in front, it's a little bit trickier, you know, to kind of find the pace. I was trying, you know, I was really like pushing. I closed the gap quite quickly, but to get around Laia, I mean, she's a great racer, obviously. It's also Q1, so I didn't want to do anything stupid, but I was there if she made a mistake and I was sort of waiting for it. I was probably a bit closer in the first lap compared to the second, but yeah, I mean, happy with the P2 overall. I think, you know, having chosen 4th on the grid, we've kind of moved up 2 places there from our quali choice, so that's a good thing, and hopefully we can do it again.
Was there any point looking back in which you could have made a move, you could have made a lunge, or do you think that was probably the best return you could have got?
I was trying, you know, just sat there with like cruise control on, a Sunday drive on the motorway. No, there's like dust
I'm
everywhere.
not saying that, to be clear.
Washes are going and everything. You know, there's a lot going on in the cars and bumping all over around the place. With this sort of car as well, in the ruts, when you're leaning on them at any minute, it can hook up and go onto a 2-wheel moment. So you have to be very particular with your moments. I did try a couple of places, but she was shutting the door on me. So yeah, it was great racing, great drive by her as well.
And you've set yourselves up so well for qualifying 2 and indeed for that bid to get into the grand final as well. What's the plan for the start next time out?
See what happens. Who knows? Anything can happen in Extreme. I mean, obviously we're always trying to take the lead, so we'll go for that. I think I'm taking the start now, and I think I'll be in a heat of some of the fastest guys again, so holding my own in that hopefully is the plan, and then handing over to Tim in a good position and seeing what he can do.
You always hold your own. Thanks so much, Katie. Appreciate it. Well done.
Love seeing a Katie Munnings smile, we really do. We've said it many times that she wears her heart on her sleeve, and when she's happy, it's great to see that smile. Fantastic drive by her. Look at this, all over the back of Laia Sanz, but a brilliant drive by Sanz as well, holding her off. Say the level is so very high in this series. Absolutely fantastic stuff. That gap went between 5 and 10 seconds. Amazing stuff from them. So, Michaela Arlen-Kotlinski, another one of our very talented female drivers, champion last year with Johan Kristoffersson. She wasn't even sure that she would be able to have a career in motorsport, but she was the Continental test driver, and look at her now, the champion of Extreme E. This is Michaela's story.
So we have one video to show you.
Okay, I don't know why I'm nervous.
From the beginning, it just didn't feel natural to me. I simply couldn't see myself doing that sport.
Rosberg X Racing are the Extreme E champions.
That took a long time because I wasn't interested at all at the beginning.
Always when people ask me who my role model is, it's my mom. It sounds maybe a bit cheesy, but she is.
I often say not everyone is lucky to grow up with a mom who's been a rally driver.
When she drove go-kart, she was fast girl on tarmac.
When I had full throttle for the first time on the straight. That's when I was like, okay, I should try to do this.
She put up her goals and she never gives up.
That's how she is. She really worked for it, and then she just took a step, and the next step, and the next step.
She's such a stubborn girl.
I am. I am very stubborn. The journey started in 2019 when I first got a call from Continental. Being part of developing the tires from the start is really special.
January 2021, the first ever Extreme E race.
From that point on, I've learned so much, and I feel my development as a driver has been huge. I think that's the great thing with Continental, really giving female drivers the chance to grow as drivers.
And we are off! To be here now is just amazing.
Arlen-Kotlinski doing a really good job.
She's she's been the quickest driver out there on the female side of the grid.
That year, she was getting faster and faster.
It's not only about taking good positions in the final, but also being really quick for the Conti Traction Challenge. Those points were super important.
The biggest roll there. Oh no, the steering's broken.
Michaela Arlen-Kotelinski having the drive of her life.
Limping over the finish line. Rosberg X Racing are the Extreme E champions.
It's really an incredible journey going from not even being sure to be part of Extreme E in season 21 to become the champion in 23. When I was young, I did definitely strive to make my family proud. When I've gotten older, I've been striving more to make myself proud. Yeah, that's a lot of feelings.
Lovely stuff from Michaela there, seeing her mum and dad as well. Origin stories, great, isn't it? Now, we've got a new female driver in the paddock this weekend, and it's very special because it's Dania Akil, and she's racing at home in Saudi Arabia. She is with Laura Winter.
Well, Dania, this is Extreme E. Welcome to it. How did you find that one, getting in amongst it and just trying to bring the car home in one piece for Andreas?
Honestly, it's a great game, a lot of amazing drivers, and honestly, just trying to follow their line as much as I can. I'm feeling a bit more comfortable in the car, some familiarity now, but still a long way to go.
Yeah, you learn so much each time you get behind the wheel. What are the main learnings? What is the main focus you have looking ahead for the rest of the day?
Well, for me, yesterday was all about getting used to the jumps. I don't do that much of that in Rally Raid, and now it's a bit more about getting the car stable in the corners, trying to find the best exit, the best line. I think I lose a lot of speed there, and I just want to learn from the best.
How much is going through your mind while you're driving? I know when you're driving you want to kind of drive on instinct and intuition, but here you have got to just be reacting to the moment and you're learning at the same time.
Yeah, there's not too much in my mind. It's really just about feeling, and I'm less enforcing my driving on the car rather than trying to see how I need to react, and that's something a little bit different. Usually it's about you driving the car. I think that's just I need a confidence builder in the car, and then that'll hopefully tip the scale.
Look forward to seeing that confidence grow. Thank you, Dania.
Thank you.
Well done.
Great stuff. Now, later on today, of course, we've got the grand final. There'll be 4 cars qualifying for that, but their grid positions will actually be decided by grid play. So fans vote for their favourite teams, and you can learn a bit more about that here. In the build-up to the final in each Extreme E X Prix, fans can show their support and vote for their favourite teams and drivers through grid play. The voting takes place via the Extreme E website. The team that collects the most votes gets first pick on their grid position in the grand final and will have the opportunity to massively influence the start of the race. But there is a twist. The teams that do not reach the grand final can donate their votes to any other team. With a strong start being key to a good X Prix result in Extreme E, grid play could make or break a team's chances of success. Which team will emerge as firm fan favourites? So Q1 is finished, and this is what the results were. So 10 points if you win. Remember, they're not championship points, they're qualifying points. The winners of each of those races actually get 1 championship point, and then those on the right-hand side are your grids. So that's the lineup. Their grid positions will be chosen, and you'll know those at the start of the next session. Very much looking forward to Q2. Doing a bit more battle out there. This is your dream team, Travis Pastrana and Michaela Arlen-Kotelinski. So our reigning champion female driver and our brand new male driver would have been the fastest out there. Fantastic stuff. There's your fastest times to the males. Look at that, Pastrana, some 2.7 seconds quicker on his first weekend in the Odyssey 21. Brilliant stuff. And on the left-hand side, equally 2 seconds quicker, Michaela Arlen-Kotelinski for RXR. Getting a perfect lap out here is very tricky indeed, but we've had some great racing. Lovely stuff. Huge jumps in the background, side-by-side action. We haven't had too much contact, just the one bit in mid-air. Here it is. Sun Mini Meal Racing pulled an all-nighter to get that car ready. We've had several cars up on 2 wheels. Look at those inputs in the steering. Absolutely fantastic action here from round 2 of Extreme E 2024. We're on season 4. Yesterday's final was absolutely epic. So we really hope you've enjoyed Q1 with us here this morning. I'm Andrew Coley. Thanks to Laura Winter on site, Patrick O'Donovan for joining me on commentary. And we will have Q2, the redemption race and the grand final for you later on today. So make sure you join us to see who's going to win round 2. Can RXR take a clean sweep of the first 2 events? They've got a 9-point championship lead after just 1 day. Or will one of these other very talented teams fight back and make their life just a little bit more difficult? Join us and find out as we come to the conclusion of round 2 of Extreme E 2024. We'll see you later.